Kid here doing his thing, trying to make it through. And I'm joined by your boy Red Devil Studio. Man, Red Devil, what up, man?
It's been a while, HH. It has been a while, man.
It's been a while. So
it's been a while.
why has Magpie Studio been taking your place, these days? Because the streets have been wondering where's Red Devil been? Because why is it that he always disappear whenever Man United are doing badly? And I need to talk to you about Man United. So where the hell have you been? Why have you been in hiding?
I mean, I think it's more so because I want Magpies to get more comfortable with this space. You know what I mean? He doesn't have Twitter because Newcastle Twitter is quite toxic. So he needs to kind of expose his views and stuff like that, and I've got other things that I'm doing, work and revision and stuff. So, you just alternate with it, you know what I mean? So, but like Magpies does feed me back certain things that happen on the shows that I'm not a part of. So, for example, I think the last show was on, he played some sort of receipt of you trashing Mourinho or something. Like there was
I don't recall anything
talking about
like
Mourinho
that.
or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't really recall that happening. I'm not sure, man. But we are glad to have you back. I'm not. I'm sure some people in the streets are glad to have you back and so forth. So, guys, if you haven't already, so what is it? So you're 5 away from 3,000.
Yes, I'm 5 away from 3K. So, guys, if you're listening, I'd appreciate the subs. Head over to Red Devil Studio.
Red Devil Studio, man.
A lot
he's
of
part of the Football Hot family. Even though he speaks a lot of trash and a lot of complete rubbish and so forth, he's still part of the Football Hot family, and we support all of our family, man. So, guys, support a Football Hot family member and take Red Devil Studio right down to that 3,000 milestone mark there for Red Devil Studio, man. So,
appreciate
it, man. So, look, man, we have lots of transfers to talk about. We're gonna do a deep dive into that explosive Cristiano Ronaldo. That's Cristiano Ronaldo interview. And then we're going to talk some Chelsea against Man City. So it should be a pretty nice show, man. So, guys, as well know, if there's anything you want to add in, please feel free to use the Super Chat function and I will answer your comment straight away, unless it's from Daddy Oos or any other weird cycle like my illegitimate child. But if you're not any of those guys, feel free to send in a Super Chat and I will answer your comments as we try and give you the best possible show. So let's kick things off with a transfer that's really been doing the rounds, man. So let me bring us in, man. Let me bring us in. So this is a certain man, and I want to talk about tax, because tax is a very major thing here, and I think some people may believe that there's a certain tax. So your boy Dusan Vlahovic, Arsenal, Fiorentina have a price. They have a price. So this in the cases where he's not for sale, we wouldn't sell him and so forth. Fiorentina have pretty much said, if you give us 70 to 75 mil, we can open negotiations, and therein is the price. For Arsenal, who Aubameyang, we don't even know where the hell he is right now. Lack of threat, ain't it? Nketiah, I think, is not really up to this freaking standard, and I'm not sure where Yaya Sanogo is, unless you want to bring back Marwan Shamak. So this pretty much makes the right sense for us to go for this dude. But what I want to talk with the artists about is this whole Serie tax, because for me, people can get a lot of hypes. I am not sold on Vlahovic as he's that dude, because for me, I'm like, okay, you scored a lot of goals in the Serie. Scoring 30 goals in Serie now wasn't the same as scoring 30 goals in Serie back in the 90s or the early 2000s, where back then it was a big, huge deal. But right now, it ain't that much of a... It's still reputable. Goals are goals, and we still have to give him credit. But what are we saying Vlahovic is? Are we saying Vlahovic is one of the best strikers in the world? We can't say that. Are we not saying that he has the potential to be a top striker? 100%. But potential. Some people fulfill the potential. Some people don't fulfill the potential. So if you're asking me that, all right, is 70 to 75 mil worth a potential great striker or a potential flop? If you have the money to spend, why not? Because my thing for Arsenal is that you have a pretty good team here. And if you can get Vlahovic this window, and because here's the thing, even if Vlahovic is not a big hit, Arsenal can still do well because they've still been doing well without. Arsenal have been doing well without a striker because Lacazette and Keita have not contributed anything to this team. So if Vlahovic comes in and doesn't hit the stride, fair enough. But if he comes in and he's a big threat, Red Devil Studio, I'm worried because I said again, I will sell farm if Arsenal finish above Chelsea. So I would be very worried, man. So look, RDS man, Vlahovic, is there a Serie tax on this guy like a Bundesliga tax, whereas that people are overestimating this dude? Or do you think that if this guy comes to the EPL, Arsenal could be a serious problem?
Well, I think the first thing is that you mustn't give this guy a nickname. That's the first thing. So because we know how.
Oh yes, no. That's
So
if he
don't
moves.
give
No,
him a nickname.
no, but basically, if he moves, he's the deuce. If he moves to Arsenal, he's the deuce. He's the deuce.
Okay. So Arsenal shouldn't pay 72 million after the fact. I mean, I don't. I mean, the first thing is I don't really. To be honest, I can't even remember the last time someone spent. There were big money signings made in January. I legit can't for any team. I can't remember any team that has made a big money signing in January like before. So I would be very surprised if if Fiorentina did go into negotiations, their probably mindset is we'd rather delay and stall because we know that in the summer, if he is going to leave, they're more likely to be more bids, more competition then than there is going to be in January. So and Arsenal don't tend to make big money bids around that time anyway. And I would imagine that given like Stan Kroenke hasn't changed at the end of the day. Like I know Arsenal doing well, and this is the typical thing. Arsenal doing well, so no one's really talking about Kroenke and selling in the club and all the rest of it. So, but last time I checked, the ownership hasn't changed. They did spend quite a bit of money in the summer. I think they spent the most actually compared to any English team in the summer.
So you're saying that Kroenke won't give them 75 mil
No,
for
for starters,
the Vlav.
They spent the most money out of all the English clubs in the trans. It was spent on at the time bricks, but actually when you look at it, you're like, actually, Ramsdale was a pretty good signing, and all the other signings have done quite well, with the exception of maybe Ben White. But he's been okay. So I would be very surprised if Kroenke was like, hey, yeah, we spent a lot of money in the summer. We're going to give you 72 million to buy this guy in January. Like at the level of very least, players will have to go first. So if they maybe sell Nketiah, maybe they can get. I think the main thing is if they can get a sale for Aubameyang, maybe if they can sell him for like say 20-30 million.
So you, I mean, would you sell Aubameyang? I mean, I know that he's out of favor and so forth, but because once he's sold, he's sold.
Mm-hmm.
But look, because it's a dilemma. Because if Kroenke says, okay, fine, you can only get Vlahovic if we can sell Aubameyang. Do you do that? Because my thing is that, okay, Aubameyang hasn't worked out. But as we can see, people can go out of form and in form. So we've seen an in-form Aubameyang, and he was one of the little strikers in the world. And Vlahovic is still an unknown quantity in the Premier League. Because, he could come and ball, but does a Serie tax exist? So because that's the key thing I want to know. Does a Serie tax exist? So all because he is amazing in the Serie, how do you know that he's not going to become a Timo Werner in the EPL? I mean, like, how do you rate Vlahovic? Do you view the homeboy as the real deal, or
no? It's a risk. It's a risk. That's what I wouldn't. If I was the vice Arsenal, I wouldn't go for him in January, and I would just rotate with like at the end of the day, Arsenal's goal is to top four, and they've got the squad. The squad
they're not sniffing top four, bro. They're not sniffing top four. Relax.
I mean, when are they playing Chelsea? They're playing Chelsea at the end of the year.
Oh, you worry about you. They play Chelsea when they play Chelsea. You don't need to worry. They'll play Chelsea when they play Chelsea. Okay.
So it is what it is. Although the way it looks like, you might play them in the Carabao Cup final because Liverpool were. I don't know what Liverpool are doing against.
No, but I still believe Liverpool will still beat them though. Arsenal should win, but you know how it goes. Arsenal should win. They'll end up screwing it up at the Emirates.
Yeah, but no Mane and Salah. That's the thing. No Mane and Salah. It's like you've seen the Liverpool. That's a bit like.
No. Okay, so
anyway, yeah.
I mean, where are you at with Vlad? Because it's hard to know. Because I mean, amazing for Fiorentina.
70 million is too much, bro. 72 million
70
for
it's
an
high.
is too much.
No, but
Especially,
because it's
and
70
especially,
mil and you don't know what you're getting for sure.
and also Haaland is what? Haaland is going to be the same,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much.
release clause.
Release clause, and so I'm not saying Arsenal will get him, but Haaland at least has some. He's
Yeah.
got something behind him, and he's going to. So it doesn't make sense for you to pay the 75 million for this guy who's not really proven. Haaland is somewhat more proven when he's going to be available in the summer. Like, it just makes more sense to make a move in the summer. January is a no go for this guy, and I don't think he's going to be going anywhere in January.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, look, when you just look at Arsenal's logistics and so forth, it doesn't make sense because of who Kroenke is and because Kroenke is stingy with the money. And I just don't think that Kroenke is going to fork out 70, 75 million for, wait, who is this? Vlav? Okay, it's not disrespect to Vlahovic because, yeah, he is balling in the Serie, but still, for Kroenke, he's going to look at it as at a risk. But my thing is that, sometimes some risks can be worth taking. So the question I have to ask themselves is that, is 70 mil a worthwhile risk? And for me, as again, I think I've got to roll a bit with Red Devil in the sense of Serie in 2022 in Serie in 90. If this guy gave you 15, 20 Gs and we're in 2001, 2002, oh, bro, this because it was hard to break 30 goals in Serie back in 01, 02. Now, I mean, so but look, man, I mean, for Arsenal, man, if who knows, it could be an amazing scenario because who knows, they could get him if he now starts scoring goals, works well with Saka and Smith and Smith Rowe.
Mm-hmm.
It might prove problematic.
I mean, to be honest, there's not really. I mean, this season there's not really been a standout number 9. I mean, I think the top. I think Salah. I think it must be the top goal scorer right now.
Yeah, he's top scorer in the Premier League. Yeah.
So, but there's not really been a standout, number 9 in the season so far. So you could make an argument.
You mean in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, yes,
yeah,
no. Premier League, not particularly. Harry
Oh,
Kane.
City don't have a striker.
Like Ronaldo's sort of here, there. Cavani's been injured.
Well, Lukaku was injured. Lukaku was injured. So Lukaku was injured. So
4 goals in 15 games.
Lukaku was injured. So Arsenal, there's all the Aubameyang thing. Liverpool don't really have it. So yeah, that's the thing.
No.
So
it is what it is, isn't it? So as Lukaku's trash, as you said.
No, I think he was injured for like a few games. So guys, look, let's keep things moving, man. So guys, man, and for our next thing, now this is worrying. See, RDS, this is slightly worrying, man. Let me bring us in here. Christ, well, not Jesus Christ, but Christensen, man. I think he might be going. And the rumor around the campfire is Dortmund in the summer. I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is that those guys that won that Champions League, they need to be protected. Because I want what Real have. I want a 3-peat. I want a UCL 3-peat. It doesn't mean I'm going to get it, but I would like a UCL 3-peat. And why did Real Madrid get the 3-peats? They kept that same crew all the way through. All the way through, they kept that same freaking crew. But every player is entitled to say, pay me my money. And if you don't pay them their money, they're obliged to say, screw you, get some friends. I'm going to send a freaking nuke from Kim Jong-il. Shout out to my North Korean brothers out there. But the thing with Christensen is this. He was great for Chelsea in the Champions League, specifically in the UCL final. And I want to keep that crew. And I want to keep that defensive unit because that defensive unit gave me one of the happiest days of my life. A beatdown on my nemesis Pep. So, not everybody can be replaced. But can Christensen be replaced? Yeah, he can. Because now, listen to this very carefully. Christensen is not the greatest defender in the world. Neither is Rudiger as well. but he fits for this team. This is why I tell to you guys in football, like, listen to this, kids. It's not about getting the best players. It's about getting the right players. I'd rather have a team of 11 that are the right players than a team of 11 who are just amazing in the individuals. So who knows? Maybe a scout report will say, well, according to analysis, Kunde and De Ligt are better than Christensen. Cool. What if Kunde and De Ligt don't fit in well into the system the way that Christensen fits in well? That's the issue, and that's what Chelsea fans are missing out. That I believe that De Ligt has a higher ceiling than Christensen. I believe that Kunde is far more skilled than Christensen. But what if they don't fit in well in the Tuchel puzzle the way that those dudes do? So RDS, I'm worried, man. I mean, RDS, what's happening with Chelsea, man? I want my people to be kept. Why can't Marina and people? Why can't people come together, sign a contract? RDS, RDS, we won the UCL, and RDS, you know how good this guy was. RDS, you even said that you would cut your arm off to get Christensen at Man United. That's what you told me that. So, do you think that Chelsea are making a bad move, not trying to come into a middle ground to try and keep a guy who was crucial and critical to Chelsea beating the living crap out of Pep Guardiola in the UCL final?
You remember when the Lukaku interview happened, right?
Why does everything have to link to Lukaku? Why can't
it's a point. It's a point.
Okay, make the point.
As part of the, because we're going through the tweets and Twitters and stuff like that. And I think one of the things that came on the interview was that Lukaku said that he was disappointed. He was looking to go into like a Bayern, a Madrid, a Barcelona. He saw those as being the biggest clubs in the world, and that his desire was to go to those clubs. And I think with Christensen and Rudiger, you're seeing the same thing where, yes, they won the Champions League at Chelsea, but really and truly, they just don't see Chelsea Football Club as a big European powerhouse. Like it's sort of like because London is a great city, right? So much like Paris, great. PSG. It's sort of like this is a nice. I wouldn't say a holiday camp, but like can do all the good stuff in London, man. Chill out, relax, and so on. But it's really it's a party city. You know what I mean? It's where we're here to relax and hopefully win trophies.
Wait, hold on, no. So, Alex, are you comparing Chelsea to PSG?
In the sense that like the players are coming to the club because they want to sample the sites, and then if they win, okay,
no. Right now, I'm going to stop it because Red Devil.
First of all,
I don't know whether you've had a drink. I don't know whether you've done a few lines or something.
No.
I will excuse the use of alcohol or drug use as hampering your.
No. There's no alcohol. It's just I'm trying to make the point that because I can only go by what your players say.
No, Barreto. Why your point doesn't make any sense? Why your point doesn't make any sense is that have PSG won a UCL? Chelsea technically have 3 UCLs.
Yeah, Chelsea. Okay, but Chelsea won a UCL more recently than Madrid or Barcelona. But the thing is that if we quote the Lukaku interview, he still saw those. It's like you said before.
Lukaku was capping. Lukaku was capping. He said it was capping. That was
no. But you had said before that like Barcelona and Madrid in particular, they just they just have that history. And Bayern, a Bayern Munich, so they just have that history. And Chelsea Football Club, I'm not saying Chelsea Football Club are irrelevant. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that like the appeal to Chelsea for a lot of these players is often London vibes than necessarily like wanting to win trophies.
The jealousy seeping from your gums is.
It's not really jealous. It's not.
It's jealous.
I'm not leaving Chelsea. These are the players. Christensen is leaving. Rudiger is leaving. Lukaku is clear. So this is.
It's contract. No. Okay, guys. Basically, Red Devil. So everything Red Devil said was just complete and open crap. Let me tell you guys what this is. What this is about is that Christensen knows that this is one of the greatest clubs in the world. He knows one of the biggest clubs in the world. So because he knows it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and because he knows that Bram has a yacht, he's trying to stick up the club. It's a stick up. So it's like, wait a minute. I've seen your yacht. I've seen your private jets. I want what I believe I'm owed.
Okay.
Christensen knows that I want to stay at Chelsea. He knows that this team is the future because he is literally in the team that are the defending Champions League winners. 3 times UCL will be winners because I'm counting on 9.
That is based in London as well.
So why would you want to leave 3-time UCL winners?
Okay.
Have some of the most exciting.
Wait, 3 times. World. 3 times. Where's the third one come from?
Oh, now I'm counting on 9. I'm counting on 9. so first of all, why would you want to leave?
That's the problem.
Why would you want to leave the 3-time UCL winners and one of the most exciting young teams in the world? Rather, this has nothing to do with him wanting to leave for a bigger club and so forth. This is all about this is my fee that I feel I'm owed. If you want to give it to me, I'm going to go to another team that's going to give me what I feel that I'm owed. And also, wait, right after that, your theory is complete bullcrap because he's linked to Dortmund.
Okay.
Are you now comparing Dortmund to Chelsea?
I mean, historically, you could say that maybe.
Red.
I mean, no, I'm
lead level.
I'm just making the point that like you're right. At the end of the day, like with many things, like ultimately these players, much like these players want money. They want more money. They want to be paid. And unfortunately, Chelsea's wage structure is a bit whack, as we've already discussed. I don't know how my man Mendy is basically like a pauper. Like I don't really understand how he's basically he's on relative scraps compared.
It will change. It will change.
Well, you'd like to think so, but like you just don't know. And I think maybe that's the thing. It's like at the end of the day, Rudiger and Christensen, they believe that they're owed more money than Marina is wanting to give them. So and then at the end of the day, we combine. It's not like the point I made that example is that it's not like Chelsea Football Club, a club that people are willing to take a pay cut to go to. That's not Chelsea Football Club. There's certain clubs that are like.
Wait. What club?
Yeah.
In 2022, if this was the 70s when
Hazard took a pay cut to go to Madrid,
which player is willing to take a pay cut to join any club?
Did Hazard take a pay cut to go to Madrid, man?
No, he did not. No, he did not.
That's
false.
To fulfill his dream of playing for Real Madrid.
This man is lying. This man below me is telling lies.
Compare his Chelsea salary and his Real Madrid salary, and let's see if they're on the same. I have a feeling that he's not on the same amount.
Well, Google lies, so don't bring up any trash Google. All I'm saying is this: Marina, I want my team kept intact. I want my team unity intact. Red Devil, I want another UCL. Because see, Red Devil, I want our 4th UCL.
You mean your third
UCL?
Okay.
And the reason why I want our 4th UCL because the more UCLs we get, the more that you sweat. Because I want people to sweat. Because the more UCLs we win, the more people are like, you know what? I think half was right. Like I think half of might just be right. Because
are you also saying that you want Bayern?
Wait, Red Devil, think about it.
You're saying I want Bayern as well. I need to clarify. Are you wanting Bayern as part of that process?
Let me respond. Red Devil, why would you want to leave the Champions League winners? It makes no sense. Why would you want to leave technically the best club in the world right now? Like as a right now, Chelsea are the best club in the world because we hold the Champions League crown, the most important crown. So why would you want to leave the best club in the world as of right now? It makes no sense. Come on, Red, you're a smart man. It's illogical. Okay. You're a doctor. You're supposed to be smart.
So I don't.
How do you leave the best club in the world? It makes no sense.
So why? But then Lukaku's interview didn't really make sense either, really. So
Lukaku's interview.
These are kind of the. He said that he wanted to go back. From
did
the
UCL
champions.
Wait, I'm trying to explain this to you.
Yeah, go on.
He was drugged. So what happened was a few moments before the whole thing. His drink was spiked by the journalists and so forth, and he just started just to talk stuff and everything. So basically he was under the influence. He was under the influence. So his drink was spiked.
So it wasn't really true. When he's like, I want to leave the CCL champions to go back to Inter Milan, who got knocked out of the CCL group stage. You know, so
why is everyone on this whole CCL thing, man?
no. So the point is that there's clearly certain things that are going on behind the scenes at Chelsea Football Club, where it's not like it's not like a family. You know what I mean? Like Liverpool, for example.
No. Oh, you want to talk about behind the scenes? Don't worry. We're gonna talk about the Cristiano interview, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
That's something. But like at the end of the day, you know, it's all they want is more money. Are you going to pay them up, pay the money, or not? If you're not going to pay the money,
Red Devil, I will speak to Bram. I have a Zoom meeting with him, with Bram and Marino tomorrow.
You tell him to clarify. Can you tell him to stop rigging the Champions League draws in Chelsea's favor? That's the first thing. And if you also tell him that,
Red Devil, for you and for the streets, guys. Okay, fine. I'll talk to Bram Marino tomorrow, and I'll try and sort this out. God damn, I'll talk about them, and we'll talk and everything. Because I have a meeting. I think it's like at 10:30 tomorrow morning. We'll have a meeting, and we'll clear everything out. Trust me, everything will be cleared out. Now this is worrying. From Jose Pesero, Nigeria fans looking forward to the journey. First off, how did you find the stream? Second off, get your ass off this freaking stream, you loser. Third of all, you are not touching my national team.
Yeah.
So I hope.
I don't know what iPad presentation you gave to NFF or
what's software, man.
What software that is?
The guys, it's software. It's software developer, man. So look, man, let's keep things moving, man. So now this is another dude that's also been in the transfer headlines, man. There he is. Alpha Melo. So Arsenal again.
Yeah.
Arsenal again. Now, and the situation with your boy Melo here is that Juve say, cool, but we need a replacement. And this is where things get tricky, Red Devil. Do you know who the replacement might be?
A Chelsea player?
Have you ever been inside a loft?
Yes.
Have you ever been cheeky in a loft?
What do you mean?
Loft? Cheeky, loft?
Oh, okay. Geez. Oh, man. Just...
I was trying to be.
That's just bad, bro. That's bad.
I was trying to be witty.
Man, that's just.
So Loftus-Cheek is apparently rumored to be a guy that Juventus are looking to try to reel in and bring in, man. Now Melo is a guy who I thought this guy was real good from before. And somehow he just sort of fallen out of favor. Now, Xhaka is chilling out in the Brick Academy right now. He's chilling out. I think he's in Class B. He's got Class B residency for at least minimum of 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do Arsenal need Melo? Improvement is an improvement. And especially if you're not going to take Xhaka out anyway and you bring in a Melo guy just to add a little bit of solidity to your midfield, perhaps.
Well, Xhaka is suspended for 3 games now, so that's not ideal.
Well, Red Devil, if Arsenal are smart, you ship him off to Siberia permanently. It's not about banning him. Literally, throw away the clothes from his locker and he's banned from entering inside the Arsenal premises. That would be the smartest thing to freaking do. But so you look at a guy like Melo. I mean, do Arsenal need Melo?
I think from a midfielder, I think it'd be good depth. I mean, Partey's obviously right now. Like, I don't actually know who's playing in Arsenal's midfield because Partey's at AFCON. Xhaka is suspended now for 3 games. Who else do they really play? They got on their midfield?
Isn't that long?
El Neni's at AFCON as well. So I don't really know who. I don't know what's forming Arsenal's mid. And Maitland-Niles, who used to play in there, is on loan.
Yeah, he's gone to
They've got Lokonga. They've got Lokonga.
Lokonga.
I mean,
it's thin.
That's one. It's thin, so it makes sense in my mind that that because you don't know what's going to happen with Partey and Xhaka as well.
I think for me, even here's when you're looking at the squad. This probably makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
than Vlahovic.
Yeah, exactly. They need for squad depth. This is reasonable.
But my thing is that even beyond just squad depth, bro, he's better than Xhaka. Like Xhaka had one
Well,
good
he
game,
is.
and that was against France.
But
And
he's
that was it.
but Xhaka's captain, so that's the only thing. And we know what if things with captains. You don't drop captains unless they do have disciplinary issues like certain Aubameyang.
Give
Then
me a
they get
break. Okay, so you can't see you can't rip the captain's armband off of it, especially. Wait, ill discipline is one thing. If you are consistently letting your team down, man, take that damn armband off you prick. 100%.
It should, but it's like coaches are. I mean, I'm still surprised Arteta picks Xhaka, but he picks Xhaka presumably because he trusts him as his captain. So at least new captain anyway. Now that Aubameyang is not. So,
No, but look, man, Arsenal are making waves, man. Arsenal are making waves because I think. But my thing though is that these are all rumors, and when you have your boy, what's it called, Kroenke around there, just like with FSG, is Kroenke really going to give these guys any money to?
At least they have rumors though. Like Conte was promised like big bucks to come to Spurs, and now he's realized that, as I said several times, it's like Daniel Levy. I mean, I don't know what Daniel Levy said to get Conte in.
wait. Right. Have you seen Godfather?
Yeah, I've seen Godfather.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Have you seen Donnie Brasco? So you know what it means to like threaten someone's family. Like you know what's extortion. Like leave that. If you don't take over, like your family's life is in danger.
Your family's life is in danger.
So, which is why whenever Conte talks, you always say that he's a bit under pressure whenever he talks because he knows that, bro, like I'm literally doing this for my family's life and for their safety, you know. So, 100%, man. And
I must have been it, man.
From a boy Abracadabra who says, "HH, what's going on?" Yes, I need to even talk. I want to talk about this verse. Yes, we have to remind me about this. Red Devil. I want to touch upon this very quickly. What's going on with players had problems? Aubameyang and Davies at Ban. If the prodigy signs a new deal, AJ, yes, the hangers was fire. Referee shout out RDS. No, look, man, yeah. I mean, I pray Mbappe doesn't sign a new deal, bro. Because if he signs a new deal, because my thing is, I think the streets need Vini, Benzema, Mbappe. That the streets need that, and also Mbappe. What are you doing? PSG they're not a real club. How much do I have to explain to you that you're operating with guys that they are not a freaking real club, bro? Ice Freeze says Magpie Studio thoughts on Ugo. Is it Ekitske? Good player, fire emoji.
It's Red Devil here, but I can pass it on to Magpies. But I can give you my opinion. I've not watched. He plays for Lyon, doesn't he? If I recall. Cool. So I've not watched much of Lyon this season, if I'm perfectly honest. So, but from what I've briefly seen, yeah, it seems like a solid player. So, but I can't get full opinion because I've not watched him fully this season.
All right, now let's get to the interesting stuff. Let's get to the real interesting stuff, man. Let's get to the stuff that why we're really here, man. So
you said I should remind you about something, but I didn't see the super chat. Sorry.
Oh, it was Davis. The heart problem with Davis.
Oh, Davis. Okay, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll put it down here so I should remember. Okay. So
nice kit.
It's all right. So no, not bad. He gave an interview. And in the interview, he talked. But there is one quote that has been doing the rounds. RDS, and it's a very interesting quote. It's a quote about the youth. The oldies, the old and the youth. Because Cristiano Ronaldo said, these young kids these days wasn't like how I was young. And if you read between the lines, it was definitely a feeling of the young guys don't work as hard as him. Now, I don't know whether this report is true, but there's a report that said that he is the only person that does twice as much work in the gym and sort of stays behind to do extra sessions in the gym. Like no, like he's either one of the very few or the only one that does so that people don't put in as much work as him. And I've just been, following, United chat on social media, and a lot of people are saying that these players are too coddled, and this is a result of Solskjaer treating these guys like babies. And Red Devil, this even goes even further because this goes back to Mourinho. Mourinho was criticized for airing players out and maybe being a bit too harsh on the players. But a lot of stuff that Mourinho said that he was criticized for, people are now praising Cristiano for. People are now realizing that, oh, these guys, man, they're in. I mean, these players are babies. They're pampered, and I really believe that there are some serious, like, for Ragnick. I think Ragnick is stepping into a bigger issue than he once saw. Because there's one issue where, okay, players are not playing well. Let me now sort of improve the players. But this is much more of a philosophical man management that he now has to do, which is in case of there might be a clash, there may even be a divide, you know. And this notion that everybody would come and just sort of lavish plays on Cristiano and so forth. If you're the younger guys, like, hey, I don't know this whole Cristiano thing. Yeah, I respect what they did and everything, but man, you're in, you don't have to three or your way to run. So it doesn't seem as if everybody's really pulling in the same direction, man. So Red Devil, that's what I think I want to know. How deep are the internal issues and problems at Man United? How deep does this thing really truly go?
Hey, Chick, could you just share my share screen, please?
Hope it's not porn.
It's not. So, I just want to highlight these things here. Okay, I just want to highlight these things. Okay, so 2 times best FIFA Men's Player of the Year, man.
God.
5 Ballon d'Ors, 1
Four
European,
actually.
one European Cup. Okay, something that Hazard was close to but didn't achieve. 5
Holding World Cup
CL.
semi.
Okay, 3 Premier Leagues.
One of the seals is dodgy, by the way. So
Well, we wouldn't really say it's dodgy. It's more that, like, it was more like a slip by a certain Terry man. If you go down, if you want to go down, obviously the FA Cup there, League Cup wins, 2-time Spanish champion, Spanish Cup winner, 2-time Italian champion, 4-time FIFA club winner. The point I'm trying to make with this thing is that that's all. That's all. And when I saw the reports, if the reports are true, anyway, that he's coming to now, I don't think he's specifically talking about Rashford Greenwood. I think maybe he's just in general young, as in like less than maybe 25 or something like that. But at the end of the day, he has the right to say what he said because ultimately he's won everything that there's to win in the game. A lot of there is him, Varane, you can say, Pogba at least to a certain extent. A lot of these clubs have won major trophies. A lot of players at Manchester United, mostly the English contingent, i.e. the Maguires, the Shaws, the Rashfords.
So Maguire wasn't in the team that won the league for Leicester?
No.
Oh, okay. No,
it wasn't. No. So at the end of the day, like, these guys have not won anything. And their mentality is similar to the Arsenal mentality, which is if we can just get top 4, that's a trophy, that's a successful season. So the idea of, right, okay, we actually need to properly compete for trophies. We need to push ourselves. We need to work hard. We need to double gym. All the ex-United players say, like, they noticed when Ronaldo came, it was great things because of how he disciplined himself when likes of Ferguson and Keane get bollocked him. Basically, he started to become the player that he is now. And there's a reason why at his age, at the end of the day, Ronaldo's 36, 37, is still playing at the highest level. A lot of the fact is a lot of the players in the United team are going to be burnt out, the young ones, by probably their mid-20s. Like, and the slightly older ones are probably going to cease to be relevant in the next 2 or 3 years.
No, but see, here's the thing I say. is more of the blame on the players or Ole? Because here's my thing is that you should always take responsibility for how you train and how you apply yourself and the amount of work that you put in. It's all down to you, and you're old enough to know how much work you should put in. I should not put it onto anyone else. But if a manager creates an environment, especially for a younger player, creates an environment that is laissez-faire and doesn't really push you or punish you or really get you to really push yourself, then then that could have contributed to
Well,
the kind of
that's
environment that not have. Because here's my thing: it's like it's one thing to be like, okay, Solskjaer, he brought back, the kind of discipline to United. So if you were late, but then there's another thing of like extra hours at training. We're here to win a trophy. I want to make you win a trophy. I want you to make you winners. Because my thing is that what really went wrong with Mourinho? Was it really Mourinho? Or was it just extremely spoiled players who
I
don't
could ask,
understand how to be professional?
to answer your question, I could ask Magpies to forward that clip that he played last time for the what was wrong with Mourinho. Would that help to address the
No,
question?
it won't. No.
That was that was so just because that, from what I can gather, there was you had certain comments about Mourinho there that might address your question about his time at
No. Don't.
Manchester United. Just from what I heard, that it might address what you said in the comments. So I would just say, please refer to Magpie Studios clip to address what happened with Mourinho at Manchester United. But to answer the general question, at the end of the day, I think Ronaldo is more talking from a generational point of view, because at the end, I think at the end of that quote, he talks about the fact, he says something like his son is the same, so like it's the same thing. So like it's the kind of the typical kids today type of mindset, So and I don't necessarily think that it's he's saying it like he's kind of like looking down at them per se.
No. It's just an honest
I think
observation.
it's an honest opinion, which is just like a lot of people. I mean, we've had this conversation even before, where we feel like footballers like nowadays are soft. They do get coddled. They get a lot too early. I mean, to be honest, when I was I was in a taxi, was it last week, and I'm speaking to one of the taxi drivers, and he basically talking about how like one of the city, he knew a city, it's about maybe 8 years old. 8 years old. And he's he's just good, and he got into Manchester City's academy, and it was talking about how the fact that like how they buy the parents' houses, how they start him on it's not a professional contract, but they pay something towards it. So so basically, even at 8, 10, 12, kids are basically, and their families are pretty much, especially if they get accepted into a big Premier League club, they're pretty much sorted. They're sorted, So there is an argument to be made where, like, if at the end of the day, for a lot of United players, they come to Manchester United and it's like, we've made it big, we've made it to Manchester United. We've now got this amazing salary as well because we pay high money. We've made it. There's nothing. There's no other ceiling than that. The ceiling,
and I really believe that is perfectly for Maguire. Because remember when Maguire was jailed in Greece, and apparently one of the things he said was like, Mike, do you know who I am? I'm Man United captain. And I do feel that for Maguire, it's like, hey man, I've made it. I'm United captain. Boom, I'm good. There isn't anything of like, no, we have to win these
exactly.
trophies.
I think that, and that's the thing they meant, the Ronaldo's trying to say, is that like it's one thing to be like, okay, I made it, I played for Manchester United, oh, I must be good, I believe my own hype. It's another thing to be like, yeah, I'm at United, but I have to win trophies. This wasn't good enough. Blah blah blah. I can't just be sulking stuff like and sulking. I need to get on with it. Harry Maguire, I don't know how Harry Maguire can, and you can see that. I know I'm going in at Harry Maguire here, but like you can see that where like you're putting your ears in your ears because you scored a goal against Albania.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? That doesn't, like, it'd be different if it was 1-1 even that game. You scored the winning goal. Okay, maybe I can understand that. but we were 5-0 up, and I think you scored. I think you scored one of the goals in that 5
against Albania.
against Albania. So this is what I'm talking about, levels of mentality. There'll be people that'll be like, okay, yeah, whatever, but then they'll make those celebrations when they're winning the Champions League, when they win the FA Cup, because if they don't, it's a failure. And unfortunately, there are a lot of players at Manchester United that basically, like Arsenal, like Spurs, just accept mediocrity. But the difference is that at least at those clubs, the wages paid relative to those is ridiculous. So what you have is a lot of United players on high wages that are fundamentally mediocre and accept mediocrity, and you can't move them on. So,
just Roy Jennings says that if City beats Chelsea, bring back my Super Frank. No, Rory, Super Frank, that dictator is never touching this club ever again for as long as I have power.
I think if just to clarify, I think if you lose against City and Arsenal win the game's hand, does that not mean that Arsenal go ahead of Chelsea?
Rory Jennings, official, again says, bring back my Chelsea man Lampard and Terry as assistants. Pep will run away from the challenge like a coward. CFC wins the link with Frank. Hashtag beautiful. Rory Jennings, F you, screw you. Lampard is never touching this club. And John Terry will become Chelsea manager. But hopefully that will probably be the next 20 or 30 years' time.
This sounds like English Talent FC's second account.
Well, bro, there are guys that are making multiple accounts. I can't even keep tag of all the dudes that are doing this stuff, man. And Jose Pesero says, Igalo will be the new captain and my main striker. No, he won't, because you're not going to be taking over, you clown. Bloody Jose Pesero, man. So before our thingy preview, I have to bring this up, man, because this is a real key, man. So crazy news, man. Alphonso Davies, heart inflammation, slight inflammation of the heart. So people were sort of DMing me and saying and stuff, bro, like, Aguero, I can't remember who the other guy was and everything. And I was like, oh, do you know what someone said to me? Someone said that apparently, he took the vaccine. So could this be related to the vaccine? I was like, okay. But yeah, man, I mean, first off, man, I mean, it's super sad news because again, and we hope that it's not serious.
Yeah.
And he can get back. I know that Carvajal had a little heart issue as well, man. So again, hopefully speedy recovery from him. Beyond just the football thing, just on a life health thing, you just hope that he now does as well. But again, so right now, like, as a doctor, you're looking at these numbers. I'm not sure whether just as a layman who's not a doctor in medicine, I don't really see a pattern per se. But do you see that? Is there somehow of a pattern, specifically when people now talk about the amount of games that people are playing? And maybe with these amounts of games, is this number now going to be getting greater and greater because of there's so many more and more games are getting put to basically in each given year, top players are playing far more games in a year than they've ever played in the history of the game. So
yeah, that's one of the things that when all these cases hit, the first thing I always think is it's interesting how no one seems to talk about the sheer amount of games that players are playing now than they've ever played. So if you took the vaccine stuff to one side, and players have been saying several times over that that player welfare has been affected by the sheer amount of games that they've been getting, and no one has listened to them. And then now that there's vaccines, suddenly everyone's like, oh, but it's a sort of like, so you kind of you didn't have any real interest in player welfare, but because you have something going, I'm not. This is not a political or not statement, but I'm just what I take issue with is the idea that suddenly somehow people are now interested in player welfare when they weren't really, because before you'd see the usual tweet of, well, they get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, so it doesn't matter. Who cares? But then when they talk about the vaccine, it's like, well, see, so we need to it's like, it makes zero sense. Like at the end of the day, fundamentally, if we're talking about actual care for players and in my case the patients and stuff like that, like it has to be a whole thing. not just you're only interested or you're fascinated when it's related to something controversial and not something that's practical, which is, as players and managers said several times over the last couple of years, we are playing too many games and our players are getting injured. And obviously, naturally, one of the potential organs that gets affected is the heart. Now, what I would say is obviously that, like I say, if anything, is that you know, causation doesn't equal correlation, and vice versa. You know, so just because something it was like when the start of this whole thing, and people were saying that 5G was late, 5G network
Oh
was late.
yeah.
You know, and it was like, because it's been in certain places, and it's like, well, yeah, because the 5G was installed in bigger cities. So of course, the biggest cities where there were more people in contact with each other were going to have, it had nothing to do with 5G.
No.
But you know, but people could just make the connection because, of course, they see correlation with causation together. So in the case of this, you know, you have to obviously look at each individual case. I'm not, these aren't my patients, so I don't know. But obviously, you ask the same questions like, is this something that happens to be in their family, for example? Do they have any underlying health conditions? Because most people watch footballers, they make the assumption that football players are fit and healthy and have no underlying
Yeah,
health
no. Yeah, it's like you have to look. It's like, what's it called? It's like, I have back issues, and my mom said that with a lot of men on her side of the family, there's a history of back issues.
Exactly.
So that's just a genetic thing that I just have to deal with. So
Exactly. And then the other thing as well is the fact that we are obviously from Ericsson in recent times that we're obviously screening a lot more. So probably especially after Ericsson, probably what has happened is that a lot of players are getting. I'm not saying that we'll come to covering later, but there's probably a lot of players that are getting more screening ever since what happened with Ericsson. So pre-op screening and stuff like that as well. So players that would normally not have been maybe asymptomatic, normally not would have had a heart scan. From a legal point of view, I assume a lot of clubs like, hey, we need to be on top of this. I'm going to get you a outpatient echo, outpatient MRI to check your heart. And even though the player's unsymptomatic, what they'll probably find is that they'll pick up an incidental. So some heart lesion or some heart function or whatever that isn't causing them any problems, but it's still something there nonetheless. And that's probably what you're seeing. As a because I'm a radiologist. That's the type of doctor I am. So I report on images and things and stuff. So what you find is that more and more people are getting CTs, MRIs, X-rays, etc., even though they may not have any symptoms. So that the consequence of that is that you end up picking up incidental findings that usually don't give the patients any bother. But because you've seen them and that they're there, you have to notify people and you have to do something about it, even though at the time not causing any issues. And I suspect we're seeing a lot of that with a lot of these footballers where they're getting a lot of scans for precautionary reasons, and that's good. But because of that, because so many footballers getting scans, we're picking up all of these what I would call incidentals. And then
because I think the point I want to bring up is I still feel the sample size is too small to now make a deduction that, oh, geez, there is the large amount of games is linked into heart disorder. Because if, let's say, in the last 6 months, we had like 20 players who had heart issues, that's a big enough number. But that number is not high enough. But again, the key thing is you want to prevention is always key.
The other thing I find also fascinating is that I find it like COVID is also an inflammatory disease as well. So I do find it fascinating that a lot of people are like, if you get COVID, it's the vaccine, but it's not COVID. And it's like, do you understand how COVID works? Because the reason why COVID was so bad for a lot of people is that ultimately it's not the virus itself, it's the body's reaction. It is a autoimmune, a bad inflammatory reaction to having the virus there. Part of that inflammation, it's not just your lungs, which is the main thing, but it can be your heart as well as other organs. So what we find, especially in long COVID and other cases, is that that inflammation that happens in that acute period doesn't go away, or it leaves lasting damage. So if you have inflammation up for a while, it causes scarring of certain tissues. So you end up having lung damage, potentially heart damage if the inflammation is there, etc. So what is often ignored from this debate is that, okay, this person had COVID, you know, did they have long lasting effects from having COVID, as opposed to necessarily, you know, the vaccine that's been given.
And also as well is, what is their previous medical history?
Yeah, exactly.
Because again, some people react to COVID differently based on just what their medical history is. Because again, like I have friends and family members who may react or have reacted bad to COVID because of their medical history and so forth. So, which is independent of him being a footballer, of doing football.
Exactly. And this is the thing. Like, it's you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, there are millions and millions of people that have been exposed to COVID, that may have taken the vaccine, etc. And we're still talking about a very, very tiny number of athletes that have got this. And to be honest, I'd be interested to see the trend, to see it, like, is this just because of media? Is this because of people looking about, or are there actual larger numbers now of people that have got heart problems as a result of COVID or the vaccine or pandemic, etc.? Or is it, like I said before, it's confirmation bias in that we just happen to be screening more? Because the reality is that if you test more people, you're going to pick up more things. So it's not necessarily that there weren't.
So, like, they were always there.
They were always there, but because you're testing, they won't test. Exactly. So you also have to bear that in mind as well. Whether is it actually that we're seeing new cases of these things, or is it just it was always there, but the people weren't symptomatic. They didn't have symptoms, so we had no reason to test them. You know, I'd imagine now, after Christian Eriksen, almost every footballer from the age of 18, 19 will be getting regular MRI echocardiograms of their heart to make sure that things are okay. And then they'll pick up these incidental things. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just again, hopefully Alphonso Davies can get a speedy recovery, because I think he's definitely crucial for both Bayern Munich and Canada. And he's just, you know, an amazing player and also a great guy if you follow him on Instagram, man. So where are we at here, man? From your boy, Pink Pibani. All right. I don't think that's raised the wing about it. Christensen is a diamond. I want Adama Traore. Hashtag baby oil gang. Okay. Thanks for that.
Can you get the PS5 as well? If that's Wing and Barney who's doing it, I need the PS5.
No. Okay. But if that is Wing and Barney, if that is really Wing and Barney, can I have my PS5, please? I've been asking. Please give me my PS5. LSK Langston, thank you for the dub, man. Says, man, why is it always the guys with the Lala, the technique, the knee? Hopefully, Alphonso makes a safe return back to football. World Cup mid-season. Shake my effing head. No. I think look, let's be real here. Even if it was Werner or Neong who got his issues, it would still be bad, and we still wish them a speedy recovery. So for anybody, I still wish them a speedy recovery. But, you know, let's be real, we love seeing the best players play. So I just think that as football fans, we're going to miss a lot, because I think he's going to be out for the season. It could be out for this could be a season ender. So it's a major loss just for us, because I think he would have played a huge part for Bayern, both in the Bundesliga as well as a thing in So yeah, look, it's unfortunately we won't be able to see.
They can't seem to get their full strength, can they, Bayern? Every single time they
you have the whole thing with Kimmich as well and so forth. So it's
exactly.
What's it called? And YSK game, man, thank you for the dub. Also, you see, homage to Eden Hazard, who bowled in the World Cup 2018, as he struggles to gain peak fitness from overdosing on too much paella. And you see,
actually,
no.
What I would say to YSK is that
as a medical expert, don't you think that there's something wrong with how society fat shames people? Isn't fat shaming wrong?
Well, what I wanted to say was that Hazard played well against Barcelona 2 days ago. Like he did make an impact there. So shout out to Hazard, balling against
I hope he
Barcelona.
plays. He could play the final.
He played though, didn't he? Was
Hmm?
he not playing?
Yeah, yeah.
No, was he?
No,
No,
he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he played.
I thought I saw him. He was playing.
No, no.
He was good.
I said he played. He was
He was
there. He
playing.
played.
He
He
was good,
played.
wasn't he? Yeah, exactly, man. He was
Yeah,
good.
he was. He
good.
was. He was.
Good.
So, guys, this is the big one, man. Now, Red Devil, you were saying something about Arsenal, about if
Talking about
Chelsea somehow lose at some like something was coming out of it.
Well, it's kind of because if you lose against City and then obviously you have Arsenal next and they somehow beat you, then I think Arsenal would be ahead of Chelsea one day if the table is correct. But you're not going to lose against Pep Guardiola. I think the key thing really is that are we going to see a repeat of that? Tuchalaban football. That Tuchalaban football.
You mean the Champions League winning for football? The UCL.
I mean, the football at Stamford Bridge where you literally put 11 men behind the ball and did come out.
But this is what
lost the game. That's
people.
that.
I'm sorry.
It was worse than Burnley. It was
okay.
Worse
Let me apologize. Let me say sorry. I am sorry we won the Champions League. Are you happy?
Okay.
Streets. I am sorry that your idol, your lover, and your great man, Pep, was not able to win it for football because I'm sorry that we spoiled the party. Okay, how about that? I'm sorry we spoiled the party. Are you happy now? Are you happy now? I'm sorry that we spoiled the party.
You're gonna win this game, so it's not a problem.
But look, Red Devil, I already I semi concede the league to Pep.
Okay.
And by semi, I mean that Pep has cheated.
Okay.
Based off of overspending. So forth. Has Pep ever won a league title with scraps? I just want to know. Ever? Like, has he ever achieved dud? Ever? Was that? Oh, he hasn't.
I don't think he has, but but people say he's the best. He's the best footballer in the best manager in world.
Oh, I know. Obviously, like what's it called, like oil money. I know oil money. I know. I get that. Like Tuchel doesn't have like an eighth of the money that Pep has to spend. You see, guys.
I mean, you did spend more than this summer, though. To be fair, maybe the last 2 summers you could make a case. Chelsea did. So
Red Devil Studio, if that's your real name. I'm looking at this game right now. You know what? I'm free. Okay. Because let's Tuchel humble this guy. Humble him. Okay. I want a humbling because I don't want Pep to be running that. Fine, take this dumbass title, but we're still those dudes. So this is a psychological victory because again, I'm real. Just like Jennifer Lopez, I'm real. The league is gone. Pep, well done. Congrats. What was it? Was it 4-5? Cool. Well done. Because where Liverpool are moving right now, nobody can challenge these freaking dudes. But I want this to be humbling. And Red, let's be real. Chelsea know how to beat these guys. They know. And Pep still has nightmares of that UCL final. So Tuchel, all you need to do is, how he attacks, mount him up properly like that, and ready. You know what I would love? I would love for Luke to just to say just a little sign, just a little sign,
so,
just for Luke to say a little sign.
So you want him to start Lukaku against City?
Red Devil Studio.
No. I'm asking the question. Do you have hope? Do you have hope? Want Lukaku to start against Manchester City? Bearing in mind that. Okay, go on. No.
I want Lukaku to live. I want Lukaku to live his
best
life.
So that means
I want Lukaku to be free.
Okay, you want.
I want him to be free to express himself, and because in life. We shouldn't force people to be what they don't want to be.
The problem is that this is a big game, and Lukaku
I don't really recall him really, G'ing up in a big game. So are you willing to take that risk where, small game Romelu comes into this game, doesn't really
What
perform?
did he, where would you just call him?
Smaller game Romelu, because he performs in the small games, but in the big games he goes missing. This is a big game for Chelsea right now. Likewise, an Arsenal be a big game. So do you play him against City here? Play him against Arsenal, that's fine, but play him against City, I think it's going to be, especially against competent defenders. Um, it could be peak. It's a shame that Reece James isn't playing, because Reece James was actually a big thorn, and Ben Chilwell, there were big thorns against City in the CL and just in general.
So right there, you're saying we're going to lose. So what are you trying to
No,
tell me?
because you guys have Kante and Kovacic. You got that double pivot now. Kante, Kovacic are back.
But according to you, Lukaku is trash. Like,
Well,
he's useless.
I think that you should.
No. He's not. He said you called him SGL.
Small
called him
game
SGL.
Romelu. Yes, yeah. So, but but you actually called him useless and crap in this clip that Magpies had, apparently. Not me. So I can find that clip for you if you want. I can replay it. But I just think that Lukaku isn't going to work in this game. And probably, I don't know how, whether you maybe go the false nine and go with go with Havertz instead.
It's a red devil, man. I'll admit, you're a funny guy. I'll admit you are a funny guy.
Well, I don't know what. So
No. Red devil, you're a very funny guy. You're a funny guy.
What is the, because City have
You're a very funny guy.
Mahrez isn't there, but City have Foden. You know what I mean? Who called Foden?
Who is this? Foden? Who is
Foden?
that?
They've got Foden.
Who is Foden?
Bernardo Silva. Those ballers.
Who is Foden? Man? Good.
So, I mean, the funny thing is that, like, a part of me would say if you have a better finishers than Arsenal, if you pressed the life out of City like Arsenal did and actually took your chances, you'd probably be able to win the game, because Arsenal should have beaten Manchester City. If they'd actually been able to finish, they would have beaten Manchester City comfortably, and had Gabriel not gotten himself sent off, they probably would have gone something from the game. So if you press the life out of City like Arsenal did, you can win this easily because you've got better finishers. The problem is that I know you're not going to approach the game like Arsenal did. You're going to sit back. You're going to cede possession to Pep completely, and he's just going to like outpass you to death until eventually one of them scores.
Oh, Red Devil! So you can see the future.
Okay.
Wait, so Red Devil, since you can see the future and you know the future so well, am I rich? And do I live on an island with Vanessa Blue and Angel Francesca Jimenez, and so forth, in an island? Since you know the future so well, since you're Nostradamus, since you're such a genius.
I'm more surprised, to be honest, that you have so much faith in Tuchalaban football. That for me is the thing. Like I
Red Devil, whether you want to call it to Chalaban or Timban, let's test on the tables. Did we win any UCL? Yes or no?
You did win a UCL, yeah. So it doesn't change.
Hold on. Did you just hear? He said we won a UCL. I thought it was a CCL.
Oh, you won a UCL. I don't debut Chelsea winning a UCL. My thing is that we've only got 2, not 3. I debate that third one that you claim that basically, I don't know where.
As long as we're building up. So now we admit that it was a UCL. So the next thing is that for you to admit that we won it in 2009. Look, baby steps.
No. That's
baby steps.
Not happening.
My baby.
Because the thing is, if we would have beat you, we'd have beaten you in that final anyway. So it doesn't really matter, because you got knocked out by Barca and would have beaten you in the final again, because Ronaldo would have just G'd up again.
Is that the same Barca who Astrologers make top 4? Those you're comparing us to those dudes?
Not in 2009. No, that just they won the game, and if you'd won, we would have beaten you in the final. So in a way, it was good.
Milan Messenger says, "Thank you for the dope, man. Hasn't Chelsea spent more than any other Premier League club this century? No, that's false. No, they haven't. If Pep is
They
cheating,
kind of have.
what is Chelsea doing? So Milan Messenger, there's a thing
Kind of have.
called net spend,
Mhm,
and there's a thing called luxury expenditure.
mhm.
So
And there's a thing called
so basically, Milan Messenger,
it's
basically the
called
thing though
big
is that
ram,
if you
oil
look
money,
at the amount Chelsea have
shell
spent
gas.
from window to window, it exceeds any team in Premier League history.
Indeed,
So
yeah.
if you just use the gross spend
Mm,
and the luxury spend,
mm.
and basically I talked to like an accountant about this, and the accountant said, "Yeah, you're right." So this accountant said that like City have spent more than anyone pound for pound in Premier League history. So Chelsea did win leagues with scraps. City won leagues by
When did
over
you win
over,
leagues
over,
for
over
scraps?
by
When did you win
where
leagues?
so Milan Manchester. So Chelsea won
We need
league by
to
scraps
establish that
using
Chelsea
dust. We had to pretty much
only
cobble up
started winning
what we could
leagues
find.
when they
You know,
started
we just don't have the same luxuries that other
when
guys do.
Ram
So it is what it is.
basically bought the club and spent money on it. So
Pink Pebani says PS5 held at customs. Adama is top 10. Don't ask me. If it's customs, get it out of customs immediately. Okay, you know what? I'll play your game. Red Devil, I'll play a game. Think your city is so cool. Red Devil Studio, maybe Lukaku isn't right for this game.
okay,
Maybe we need to play faster.
okay,
Because when we played small and faster, that's how we beat the living crap out of these dudes in the UCL final. So you know what?
indeed, yeah.
Maybe you know what I would do? Lukaku, bench for this. Let's start small. Then if we're losing the game, let's bring Lukaku into now change it through. Or if we start with Lukaku, let's see how it goes. If it is not effective, bring him off. Because we want to keep Lukaku's confidence nice and high. But the key thing for Tuchel is you have to make that change as early as possible. So before we round out, I want to hear your scoreline. Since you're so smart, I want to hear your scoreline, man.
I mean, if Chelsea go at City, then it'll be a game. But I don't know. There's a part of me that just thinks that that's not going to happen, especially away from home. I expected Chelsea to go at City at Stamford Bridge. Away from home, I don't know. I'd be very surprised if Tuchel was that expansive. Although at the same time, it's kind of like, is he still thinking that Chelsea can win the title? In which case, this is a must-win game. I just can't call how Tuchel's going to set up. If he still thinks that Chelsea can win the title, you know, this game will be, the way he sets up this team for me will show whether he thinks that Chelsea can still win the title, or whether he's conceded the title. If he starts very defensive and pragmatic, he's conceded the title. If he actually is going for the game, then he hasn't conceded it. So my predictions would be, I'm still going to give it to Manchester City though. I'm going to give it to Manchester City. It's going to be not high scoring, 1-0 to Manchester City.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. 2-2.
Okay.
I think they're going to be goals.
Who scores the goals?
Who scores the goals?
Yes. Yeah. Because obviously
Red Devil Studio, man.
Is it who scores the goals? You know, is it Werner? Is it Pulisic?
Red Devil Studio. All I said is 2-2. Now, more importantly, will you be supporting your country tomorrow as we play against Sudan?
I will. I'm doing a watch along on my channel, by the way. Watch along, guys. Tune in to Old Man G on Red Devil Studio. Subscribe. I'm only a couple of subs away from 3K. So if you're watching, guys, please head over and subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. But I am doing a watch along tomorrow at 4.
So now you've gone from a fake Nigerian to now supporting your country. So basically, if Nigeria loses to Sudan, I blame you. Basically, if we lose to Sudan, you're to blame.
There's no fakeness, really. It was adjusting expectation, especially when Friendly Beast revealed on the ground, revealed what was going on behind the scenes. I had reason to sort of
look,
have
suspicions. We wouldn't need to reveal all those things right now. Oh,
yes.
And I think Yossi saw that.
Is he still with that? He's still with us, right, Friendly Beast? Because I was concerned about afterwards.
No, he is. Hopefully,
okay.
But you know
Cool.
what's it called? The referee, I think it's Gianni Sexacazio, out to induct him.
Yeah. Yes.
But apparently they said that he had sunstroke. So the official reports coming out is that he had sunstroke, which is why he blew the whistle at 85 minutes, then blew the whistle again at 89 minutes because he had sunstroke.
Okay.
And you know that CAF have said that they've rejected Tunisia's complaints and the score will still stand.
I mean, I was when I read the official report, they said something about how they did ask them if they wanted to play the additional minutes or something like that, and the Tunisia team refused. So I don't know if it's based on that.
Well, no, it is. But my thing is that they're willing to they're like, no, this game is in disrepute. Play the whole game again.
Yeah.
Like it's like remember like the UEFA draw. People said, "Oh, just keep the draw after the mistake was made." Like, no. The fact that our mistake was made, you have to do the whole thing again. So the fact that you've blown the whistle twice for end of time and so forth, the game is into disrepute because the referee has brought the game to disrepute. New referee, whole new team.
Do they not have microphones attached to sort of like? Because what I didn't understand
Red Devil Studio. I don't care whether you have 10 heat strokes. How do you blow the whistle as the fourth official is about to bring up the added on time?
It's like what Tampo was saying. That's the so if you bring up his comments, sorry, with this thing, Tampo M. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So if that was it'd be viable. Okay, I've experienced those symptoms. You can swap with the fourth official on the you're experiencing for the last 10 minutes of the game. Swap with the fourth official, then come off. Like that's why with the mic and thing. That's why I don't understand. It's like you signal because obviously with freak things like this can happen.
Yeah,
but that's why you have other officials there. You're like, oh, okay, you come on and can you just ref the last couple of thingies and stuff? So it just doesn't make sense. It's like,
and that doesn't look like a guy that is suffering from sunstroke. I'm sorry, like the guy that I saw doesn't look like someone suffering from. Basically, there has to be because my thing is that he has to be interviewed because you have to come out and say something because you can't just say, "Oh, sunstroke."
I think maybe he's not coming to say something because ultimately was the corruption really with the referee, or was there something else going on behind the scenes as well? So was there a certain CAF official that made a fair money?
I don't want to speculate. All I know is that it doesn't look good for CAF if first of all you don't completely suspend that guy and ban him for life. And you don't replay that game again. Like it doesn't look good on those guys. But look, once again, Senegal. I'm saying right now, Senegal into winning this, man. They're winning this, and I think it's interesting because the scorelines have been very, very low so far. Lots of one. I mean, obviously Cameroon 1-4-1, but lots of 1-0. So hopefully, my idea is that hopefully, come the knockout stage, things really begin to pop off and open through. And look, man. I'm hoping and I'm putting through from my guy Eguavo, and also Ghana are still trash, man. So they're only on 1 point, man. So wait, how does Jordan Ayew still get games in any team?
I mean, you could make a case as to how come we would still recall Igalo. So it's not like he's in
and how Ahmed Musa is still
in a squad. So it's
guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Watch along for Man City against Chelsea post-match. Watch along for Nigeria against Sudan post-match. And of course, the Saturday hangout. So tomorrow is going to be a very action-packed day. So peace out. Stay true. Stay real. And I'll see you guys tomorrow back here for Man City Chelsea post-match analysis. Peace.
Peace.